Today, I'm making a little tray in the shape of a Santa Claus head on a little file I got from Etsy. Santa likes his milk and cookies, so we figured might as well make a tray. We could put the milk and cookies out there for Santa to come get and enjoy. I've made one of these before, sold it. Great family heirloom for somebody, but now I want to make one for my family. I have already gotten started, so I'll catch you up on where things are. I have this piece of yellow birch all flattened. It came from that chunk there. It's a good solid piece of yellow birch. And looking at 1.5 inches thick. 16-ish by 11-ish. I did have to surface this piece on the mill. And then once I had one flat side, I moved over to the planer and just took down the thickness. But this nice side up, the smoother side, is the side that was surfaced using the CNC. It really is the better way to do things. And then I sanded it down a little bit just to make it extra smooth, I think to 120. And as for this stain that I got on here, I put a pure black stain. It's almost like Toll paint. It's a very thick, sort of painty stain. Put that on, rubbed as much of it off as I could, and then put like a walnut, like a brown, I think it's walnut. What is it? It's this stuff here. That's up the English side. Walnut. Ooh, it's special walnut. So put on some special walnut. It doesn't look as brown on camera. It's kind of like a dark brown, but it almost looks black. It's more of a dark brown. I already have my center point marked. The first one I made was 1 inch thick. I'm going with 1.5 this time, a bit more of a hardy piece. And as the material clears away, the top surface will have the dark stain and all the pocketed areas will be yellow birch, which it's hard to tell here. It does have a nice dark center and sort of very light outsides. So we'll see how it goes. Should be pretty cool. G-code, baby. All right, so this is version 2, a 1.5 inches thick. I have my 1/8 end mill, which will do all the pocketing. And for the first several layers, it's the step over isn't as clean, so just taking out material. And then on the last pass, it does a cleaner step over for the last pass, make a nice smooth bottom. And then I do have a V bit, which I believe I just used to go around the profile, just to give it a softer edge. And then the 1/4 inch end mill for cutting it out. So I think we'll start with the 1/8 end mill, do all the pocketing first, and then I'll probably switch to the V, and then of course I'll cut it out. I still have the surfacing bit. Take that out first. Handy little guy. I think it's a 1 inch surfacing bit. So it removes quite a bit. And it's just it's got the removable, spinnable cutters. So it's super good. I've been very happy with it. I believe it's Spade Tool, but I can't remember. I have to check it out, find out where I got it. But I like it. Kept the case for it. Why not? Okay. I'm just going to clean some of the sawdust out. Not super necessary, I don't think, from that. Yeah, there's not a lot in there, but why not? 1/8, call it. Where's my 1/8 bit? I'll probably use two 1/8 bits here. One's a bit longer. I don't think I really need this length, though I do like how this one cuts. And the yellow birch workpiece is screwed down to the table. was going to just use like wedges and sort of pin it down that way. You know, have this piece here and another piece parallel in the back, and then using just shims to keep it nice and tight. But just still had like some slight lift to it, and I don't know. Pockets look real messy if it doesn't go well, so I just didn't really want to mess with even just that slight variation and change of 1/16 of an inch or 1/32. So I went back to the trusty old screws, screwed it down. I did extend my cable. That's a completely fine thing to do. It works great. I'm not a huge fan of this setup. I find this cable's too thick. It's too rigid. And I think it's just too long. I don't need all this extra cable, so I'm probably going to try to get a nice, thinner, finer wire like this and change this eventually, maybe in 10 years. I don't know. We'll see. Or I just get an alt mill and it doesn't matter. No, it does matter because I have to. The alt mill doesn't come with the touch plate, so I have to keep this touch plate. So it does matter, but I'll still probably get it done in 10 years. That's my Z set. Let's move this to precise, slow it down a little bit. Should set the hotkey for that at some point. Just go down a little closer to it. Oh yeah. We're good. Okay. 0x, 0y. Bring it back up and let's toss the dust collector on for this one. It will be removing a fair amount of material. So I think it's one of those times where it's like, yeah, let's use the dust collection. Though I hate the fact of my big old dust collector running for that long. It's that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Two hours to do the pocketing. So I'm just going to let that run and do some other things and wish me luck. I've done this once, it went well. I don't suspect any issues. I'm going to run at a fairly modest speed in and around 50 inches per minute. I could speed that up, but I don't know. I don't want to break a bit. So far it's going really well. It's odd, the pocket's deeper than I remember being on the last one, but I guess it's just, I don't know, I guess I just forgot. But it's not like a substantial pocket, but yeah, it's not just like a detailed, shallow pocket. It's actually fairly useful to hold some cookies. Doing the fine pocket pass now. So it's got that nice step over, and I don't see, certainly no lines on this one. The only line I can really see is that one where it does that move every time when it's kind of resetting. It's like, boop, it bumps up here, it bumps up, and it bumps up. So there is a bit of line there, but that's very easily sandable, I think. I hope. And this won't be quite so dark. I'm going to sand it down a little bit. It's really just going to, by the time this is all done, it'll just be like sort of, some of the grain, the pores will have a little bit of darkness to them. Very nice looking, I hope. All done. Check it out. some fuzzies, but I'll take care of that later. All right, now it's on to the V-bit. Oh, tight. Oh, there. A little bit of dust in there. Sometimes this collet is in there tight, so I just take a 1/8 and just kind of give it a little shake and whoop, pops right out. I do need a new V-bit. This one's getting dull, but it'll get me by for today. Sure hope so anyway. That's the hope. Freaking better. X and Y are good. This area here, because there's less frilly fuzzies to muck with my Z height. XY. That's more or less what we're gonna get. Just a little less blue, a little less digital, a little more wood. Looks like this is a 18-minute process. It's going pretty quick. I like it when it's faster, I'll tell you that. We'll check back in a bit and see how we made out. It's looking great. Time to cut it out. Let's do it. Load the profile. This is gonna be a hardy piece. I know sometimes when you cut through thicker pieces, it's not as straight as you want. Like the bit can kind of has a bit more, what do you call that? Oh, there's a term for that. If you know what it is, leave it in the comments. I can't remember, but basically, you know, there's reflection, deflection, more deflection. I don't know. That could be full of shit. That could be full of it. I don't know. All right. Same size collet. I'm just giving it a blow. Just clean out the dust. This bit does seem long enough. Gotta stay in though. That's the key there. Alright. Is it long enough though? Gotta get down 1.5 inches. Oh, she's just barely long enough. Yeah, that's sketchy. But embrace the sketch, as they say. As the old adage goes. Right. be silly not to use the dust collector at this point. Not that there isn't already a huge mess. There is already a huge mess. So far I'm really happy with this one. Really happy with it. These final cuts are rough, you know, because you've gone through all this work, spent all this time doing this, and I want it to work. This is the easiest part. The easiest part, yet the whole job is counting on it. And like a bit of break, you know, that would suck. Make a big mess, believe it or not. Sometimes it's fixable, sometimes it's not. But here we are, the last 10 minutes. And then we have ourselves a nice Santa cookie and milk tray. Yeah, baby. Pausing the job here for a minute. Probably got a bit more room to go, but I'm getting real close to the dust boot here. Just going to try squeezing it down a little more. See if I can get a bit more room out of this. Yeehaw. Very tight. Barely had enough room. So it seems like 1.5 inch thick is my max until I get longer bits. I suppose a longer bit is what would do it. I don't really know. I mean, it seems right, but I'm sure there's limitations to that as well. Probably just can't solve that problem on bits alone. Having homing would be very cool. That'd be fun. We'd like that a lot. Again, I'm not gonna bother adding much to this. My goal is to just pay it off and then get the alt mill. Substantial. I'll head over to the bandsaw and then to the router table just to clean things up. But yeah, that's really what we got here. Pretty cool. The compressor's doing two things for me there. It's like an air pick. It's kind of pushing up some of the fuzzies so I can get to them. But it's also, I'm trying to, as I sand and the black stain is falling into the pockets, I'm trying to blow it away before it has a chance to really sit in there. At least the majority of the spots where you're going to be handling it are clean, easy to touch. Have a look at it before oil. Now, I thought the middle here, sort of where the pith is, was going to be darker. I guess we'll see when we put oil on it. Yes, that's one thing you want to be careful of is get dark stain to those clear spots. And the oil is definitely capable of taking the stain off and transporting it places where I don't want it to be. Go through all that work trying to keep the stain and keeping the stain where you want the stain and keeping it away from where you don't want the stain. So that's that. I'm gonna keep it as it is, I think. And if my wife doesn't like the stain, I guess I'll just sand it off. So 75% satisfied. Certainly the cut went really well. I'm gonna bring it in, let that oil soak in and cure. We'll see what we got. It is, I'm not gonna say fixable. I can modify it if I need to. So that's that. Hopefully, I don't know if you learned a thing. I would certainly appreciate the likes and the subscribes. Most importantly, the subscribes, though I do think the likes help push videos out into the world. So any way you can help me out. And again, I'll address more specific questions or thoughts or concerns in the comments, but you got to comment. So thanks for watching. God bless you.